Okay, finally, I'm going to make the video on Jeff Byerly's word that he posted August 1st, 2020. I've set the time of the end of this age by my destroyer of nations, Planet X Nibiru. And I had to have a bunch of windows open. This word that he posted, he received it July 22nd through August 1st. And I'm going to leave a link for it in the text box. But much of what he shared here, the Lord's already revealed to me in the past. So I will pause and refer to that video, and then I will post the links for those in the text box as well so that you can go and listen or watch those at your own convenience. So I'm just going to start here. You can watch the video and listen to him read it if you'd like, if you click on this part right here. My children, I speak to you now so that you do not fear. There is so much more coming upon the earth than even most of you realize. Trust in me, for I have each one of you in the palms of my hands, and nothing can happen to you that I don't allow. You can choose to depart from my hand, but I never want that for you. When you depart from my hand, the enemy is allowed to test, try, and torment you, so that you run back to me and ask me to save you. Some harden their hearts, stiffen their necks, and shake their fists in the air at me, and it breaks my heart to see them go through to destruction, but they choose it when they reject me. The testing that is taking place right now will soon become much more intense. Everything that I have spoken to my seers, prophets, watchmen, and to many who just listen to my voice is coming to pass. The convergence of all the end-time events that have been foretold is at hand. Fiery destruction and calamities of every kind are at your door. What this world has seen up to this point is a drop in the ocean or a grain of sand on its beaches compared to what is coming. The entire world has been sucked into a vortex of evil, sin, wickedness, and lawlessness because they have not cried out to me to save them, and they have not repented of their ways. To those who have cried out, I have given the power to arise and overcome by my Spirit. Soon my Spirit shall be poured out in an even greater measure to my chosen ones, who are holy and humble, seeking me day in and day out with all of their hearts. I want to share a word, not there, now I'm going to, a word he gave me 9/15/18, and I posted in this video, words that the Lord has given me since 2013. Batten down the hatches. I've told you a storm is coming, it is near. Seek me with all of your heart, soul, mind, and body. Times will be difficult, but know that I am with you in the storm. I will never leave you nor forsake you. Trust in me. I will be with you. I love you and wish that none should perish. This refers to eternal death, not physical. Your eternal salvation is what matters, not what you will endure here. And he talks about that in his word as well. He'll go further into that. I'm sorry. Trust in me. And he said that already in the word that I read. Keep your eyes focused on me during this storm. Without me, you can do nothing, but with me, you can do all things. Have faith as to move mountains. Resist the devil, and he will flee. Do not lean on your own understanding, but on me. In me. I love you, and I will see you soon. And similarly, August 4th, a week ago about, I posted the word that he gave me. Dark days are upon you. A storm is coming that will envelop the world. Look to me. Pray, draw near to me, and I will be with you. That's what Byerly had just stated as well in his word. Be in my word. Your heart needs to be close to me, and I will protect you. Do not look at the circumstances around you, and he goes further into that in the word that I'm reading of his, or be swayed by the enemy. Trust in me. It will be difficult, but not impossible. Nothing is impossible with me. I will protect and care for my own. Learn to listen and hear my voice. My sheep hear my voice and follow me, thus are kept safe. In the darkness, keep your eyes set on me, the light, and I will guide you through it. I love you and will never leave you nor forsake you. So, just like in his word, he said, trust in me, right? And, you know, don't choose to follow the enemy, and there's going to be calamities of every kind. And then my chosen ones who are holy and humble, seeking me day in and day out with all of their hearts, his spirit will be poured out in an even greater measure. Children, I want you to have more understanding about all that is taking place at this time. I have set the time of the end of this age by my destroyer of nations, Planet X or Nibiru. I created it, and I alone control its path and speed. I've confounded the so-called wise men of your earth with him. They have not been able to know the exact timing of his passing, but in the coming months its approach will be obvious to all. There are many objects that surround my destroyer that will cause decimation upon the earth when they fall upon it. You will see them increase starting this fall, just as many who have had dreams and visions and heard from me are saying, and the intensity will grow over the next several years. The so-called wise men of your earth think that they know where these objects will strike, but they only know a fraction of what I know. My wrath is coming upon them, and they will not see or be able to stop what I don't want them to. Remember this, I direct every rock, every meteorite, every piece of hail, every fireball, every meteor, every asteroid, every star, and even the burning mountains that will fall into the sea. I have set their paths in motion, and I know exactly what they will hit and what destruction will be wrought by each one. I know each person that I will take from the face of the earth by each object. You will see these objects strike the most where sin is concentrated the greatest. Large cities will be the worst hit because sin abounds there. America and Europe, you will be hit the hardest because you have defiled yourself the most and turned away from me. In days past, most of your people feared me, but that is not the case anymore. America, you will be attacked with nuclear weapons by your enemies upon all of your major cities as you lie in ruins and defenseless from fireball, meteor, and asteroid strikes, as well as tsunamis, earthquakes, famine, and pestilence. Many will die of fear when they see what is coming upon the earth. Yes, men's hearts will fail them. I will protect those who will work for me in the midst of great destruction. You must trust me and put 100% of your faith in me, that I am working out my perfect plan. All who call upon my name will be saved, even in their dying breath, because my name means salvation. These are some of the things the world will see as effects of my destroyer: shooting stars, meteor strikes, and fiery hail in ever increasing frequency. The size will begin small at first and grow larger as time proceeds. Severe weather like has never been before. I want to go to I posted this 5 years ago, vision of an asteroid meteor. Okay, I saw one, had a vision of one hitting in the Atlantic Ocean just below Florida. Also in 2014, about 6 years ago, two meteors that were to come. One was smaller near California that didn't do that much damage, and then a larger one that would do more damage. Okay. And then he gave me this word, I believe it's 5 years ago. Yeah. 5 to 6 years ago, EMP, and it didn't mean electromagnetic pulse. It stood for earthquake, meteor, and power going out. And in Byerly's word, after he talks about the meteors and the weather anomalies that are going to happen, he says the power will go out. So large California earthquake, meteor, and power going out. I know that's what's coming, at least for California, where I live. Okay. And then he talks about how the chosen ones will do even greater things than those in Jesus' day. And the Bible even tells us that we will do greater things than what were written in the book. Okay. And he gave me this word, you will do great things, 2 years ago. Another thing he told me, things coming to pass. I prayed and asked what was coming to pass in the next 32 months. This was 5 to 6 years ago. And he told me hard times hardships, okay, especially with food and water, which we have seen and are, especially with the drought, but we're going to see that with food because of everything that's been going on. Laws being changed, and this was before um, they ruled for gay marriage, but that was certainly a law that was changed. And now we're seeing other laws as far as um, shutting down places of worship and so forth. Increased persecution of the Christians, that this is going to continue to escalate until the Antichrist is in full power, okay? Then also strange things happening with the weather and in the skies. And that lines up exactly with what Byerly is sharing here from this word he posted 9 days ago. But again, I put this online from 2014, 6 years ago. And then finally, full control over us by the government. They want to implement, the one world society. All right. So he says there'll be, severe weather like has never been before. The seasons will become out of alignment from their normal patterns. Extreme heat will build upon the earth until men are scorched with fire. Extreme cold will build upon the earth as well, and many will freeze to death and be buried under many feet of snow driven by gale force winds. There will be fierce storms with black skies and larger hail than has ever been seen, with very intense and powerful lightning bolts. Every strike will hit where I tell it to. There will be heavy rains and flooding, and then severe drought. It will become almost impossible to grow food, but always remember, nothing is impossible for me. Just like what I just shared and the word that he gave me. And then I just shared that right here. Do not look at the circumstances around you or be swayed by the enemy. Trust in me. It will be difficult, but not impossible. Nothing is impossible with me. So he says, remember, nothing is impossible for me. I shall provide for my faithful ones. Hurricanes and tornadoes will increase in intensity so much that men will have to increase the scales by which they are measured. Many of these storms will occur in places they would not normally be seen and will develop very suddenly. Eruptions of volcanoes will be more violent and numerous. The ash from them will darken the skies in many places around the earth. The lava will burn the earth for many miles around them. Larger and more numerous earthquakes in abnormal places will occur, and they will be like nothing ever seen before. The shaking will cause tsunamis in many places on the coasts, but they will be small in comparison to when the asteroids strike the oceans. The waves will be hundreds of feet tall and cause flooding many hundreds of miles inland. Many will flee to the mountains, but none will be safe without my protection. Millions will die from this alone. Men and beasts that are not protected by my hand will seem to go mad during this time because of the changes in vibrations and magnetic field of the earth. Even the skies will begin to look different with multiple colors like the auroras around the poles, but this will occur all over the earth. Remember, strange, you will see the skies change. He gave me a word 3.5 years ago. No, almost, it's 4.5 years ago. I posted, you'll see the skies change. Increased persecution is coming. You will be here. Okay. Even the skies will begin to look different with multiple colors like the auroras around the poles, but this will occur all over the earth. Then the skies will turn red as warning, and then to black for 3 days as my destroyer passes by the earth. But my people shall have light in their homes, even though the electric grid will be down all over the earth. Remember, earthquake, meteors, and power going out. This is when my faithful remnant bride will arise and shine with my glory in the gross thick darkness. This is also when the fallen angels and demons from the second heaven shall fall from their place and be cast down to earth like ripe figs when shaken by a mighty wind. The sky shall part, and all shall see my glory and my wrath on that great and terrible day. During this day, which is much longer than what men call a day, the continents will break apart, the mountains will crumble, and the islands shall disappear into the sea. Men will see those things that they fear the most, like monsters and aliens from the movies that have warned them of for years. It will be more gruesome and terrifying than almost any one of you can imagine. Repent and be filled with the Spirit to overflowing, and you will have the greater latter rain anointing. As the fiery hail falls from the sky, so shall my Spirit set my faithful chosen ones on fire. Then you shall not fear when you see these things, but you shall do great miracles than ever seen upon the earth, and save more of the lost, in a shorter amount of time than in the history of the earth. So you will do great things, the word the Lord gave me. The enemy also has a plan, and he has set it in motion already because he knows his time is short now. Much of the evil that the kings of the earth have planned to do to the men of the earth has been because they know that my destroyer is coming. World war will break out when the great ships of America are struck by fire. The entire military of Babylon the Great will be confused and be in disarray because I will no longer allow them to be victorious. I will use your enemies to humble you, America, and the world will be astonished as Babylon the Great is utterly destroyed and consumed by fire in 1 hour. Do not forget the messages that I have given you about the fiery kickoff event, because this will indeed take place in the city of New York. And the Lord also gave me a word, and I will try to remember to post it, that when destruction comes, New York will be first. This will, so in case I forget, I posted New York will be first when destruction comes. That's what the Lord told me. Flooding and destruction coming to New York first. God told me New York would be first. I posted these a year ago. Okay, now I lost my place. Oh, so the fiery kickoff event, because this will indeed take place in the city of New York. This will come from the enemies in and from America that desire her to fall so that their new world order can be implemented. These enemies include almost every elected official that have high rank and authority. The financial system that you have now will be brought down after this once and for all. He also told me 5 years ago that there will be a economic collapse, and then a societal collapse will follow. And that was a dream with interpretation. Trump will be taken out and Obama will return to power. He will look like the savior, but will lead the world to destruction. Watch yourself that you are not deceived, because they would have the people think one is good and one is bad. But I tell you that they are on the same team and of the same Father. The difference is one is used as a scapegoat, fall guy, or pawn in their wicked game of deception, and one will have Satan himself indwelling him. He is the Antichrist, the first beast, the man of lawlessness, the little horn, the Assyrian, the 12th Imam Mahdi, the false Messiah, the man of sin who will be revealed, the son of perdition, who opposes and exalts himself above all that is called God or that is worshipped. He will sit as God in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God, and he is Barack Hussein Obama. As I've told you before, the worldwide lockdown was a test. The kings of the earth will again impose lockdowns and enforce them with military troops. Remember the 5 things that I showed you in the video that I just went to, that the things coming, finally full control over us by the government. Okay. The vast majority of the people upon the earth have complied to the restrictions that have been put upon them, but this will change in the coming months. They want the people of the earth to remain silent as they lead them like compliant sheep to the slaughter. This is why they demand that those made in my image cover their faces. It is part of their spell over all mankind. In the next so-called wave of this man-made pestilence, they will release a pestilence that is much deadlier than what was released before. This will most severely affect those who have previously taken their inoculations and tests, because of the poison ingredients that are in them that will be activated. Also, those who have allowed the immune system that I have given them to be compromised by using man-made chemicals, and those who have been breathing in their own waste. This will instill fear upon the people, so they will comply with their demands to take whatever the government tells them to, and many will even demand their supposed cure. My people, you are not to fear this, for I have said, no plague shall come near those who are in my secret place with me. The men that are in high positions want to have absolute control over the people, and they will deliver their inoculations with military personnel. You will have to make a stand and refuse it. Ask me for strength, and it will be given to you by my Spirit. Many shall face death because of their refusal, but some will also be forcefully injected against their will. But I will not allow their poison to affect those who know me and stand for me. They want to be able to track all the survivors of the calamities that are coming upon the earth, so this must be done before it reaches its height of destruction, which is during the sixth seal and beyond. They also want to change the DNA of those made in my image, so that they are no longer made in my image, but in the image of the one they worship, Satan. He wants what I have, but he will never have it, and that is total control and knowledge of everything that happens upon the earth. This is what he will try to do with his mark, combined with the advanced technology of the fifth, sixth, and seventh generation, to try to achieve his goal, but I will take it down with my destroyer. But those who take his mark will be his forever and part of his army. He will gather his army against me, but I will cast the two beasts into the lake of fire and slay all of his army with the sword. I say once again, do not fear, my beloved. Those who know me will be safe underneath the shadow of my wings in the secret place of the Most High. This is true, though many of my own will be taken from the earth by the destroyer. The secret place of the Most High is a place in the spirit with me, not a physical location. It is by my mercy when I take my own home to be with me. It is not a judgment upon them. To live in this world and be lights in the darkness is to emulate me, but to die is truly great gain. I will receive each one of my own into my waiting arms, and they shall be with me forever. Those who need more testing and refining will be left upon the earth so that they learn to overcome sin, and most will make the ultimate sacrifice and die for me. My faithful remnant bride will help these out of many impossible situations and help me reap the final great harvest. Then we shall all go and eat the marriage supper of me and my bride. Oh, how we long for that day. After that day, we shall never be separated again. On the other hand, my enemies will be crushed and utterly destroyed. My enemies will not escape my wrath, no matter what they do, and no matter where they go and hide, I will find them. Many of them shall be crushed in the very places they thought would be safe. Some of them plan to escape to a place off this planet, but I already know where they will be, and they will suffer my wrath. They believe things will be like what has happened in the past, when the earth was made dark, lifeless, and void, and they had their free reign. But things were changed when we made man in our image and breathed our spirit into him. He was to take dominion over the earth, but this was usurped because of sin. I came as a sacrifice for that sin, so my spirit would once again live in men, and to give dominion over the earth back to my sons and daughters. Our will be done on earth as it is in heaven. All will know that I am the Most High God, Yahweh. I shall rule with a rod of iron from my throne in Jerusalem with my victorious overcomers that obey my commands. Every knee shall bow to me, and every tongue shall confess that I, Yeshua HaMashiach, am Lord of all. There is no other. God bless.